How you guys doing out there today? Welcome back to the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. Hope you guys are having a great day today. It's a beautiful Saturday, especially out here in Manhattanville. I just want to give a couple shout outs before we get started and get into this episode. First off, I would like to shout out Broadway Community, which is a church that works with Interfaith. Interfaith is a 501c3 that helps the homeless to get housing, to get health care, Medicaid, whatever they need to move forward in their lives. So shout out to Broadway Community. We will be at Broadway Community September the 5th for Manhattan Entrepreneur Academy. I will be out there, me, myself, Caleb Thompson, talking to a couple people, letting them know exactly what we offer, what we're doing, how they can get in contact with us. If they would like to take the class, we will also, after they email us, or we will give them some material there, but after they email us, we will continue to move forward with the process and get them guys enrolled. And we're going to take 10 people. It doesn't matter if you're homeless, and it doesn't matter if you just want to see what we offer. Maybe you're not an entrepreneur, maybe you're just a 9-to-5er and you want to get into your business, you want to start to make money for yourself, you want to kind of leave working for someone else and want to work for yourself. So we'll help you develop that entrepreneur mindset. Then we'll go into the second module, the second phase, which is coming up with products or services for your company. And then also the third is just finding a marketing strategy and a target market strategy and a pricing strategy that is tailored to the area where you want to launch your product or your service, how we can target those people, what groups we can get in, social media groups, groups around the area. Even Eventbrite, I believe it's called Eventbrite. It's also a good outlet or a good platform to go into to be a part of a lot of these social groups. While I said Eventbrite, they have a lot of free events that you can go and be a part of. I actually just seen an event on there that was like last weekend. It was a yacht party, free admission. Bring that Eventbrite admissions slip saying that you reserved a spot just to be on the yacht network, and it was completely free. You know, they had drinks. I believe it was a party, but I'm more not a party scene person. But I do believe that they have those events as well. Out on the Brooklyn Bridge for singles, they have those events as well out on the Brooklyn Bridge for tours. But a lot of these things are free. They have a lot of networking mixers for tech. They have a lot of fintech, MarTech, which is marketing technology. A lot of these events and these mixers for business professionals. But Eventbrite is a good platform or a good app. Let's just say that, a good app that you can go and you can get those free tickets, and you can get those free tickets and you can be a part of whoever the host is and what they're throwing and how they're trying to bring the community together and how they're trying to network with other business owners. So that would be a good app to download as well. Okay, so like I said before, this is the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. This episode is going to be called Legacy Over Profit, building businesses that impact communities and outlast yourself. So what we're going to be talking about is, leaving a legacy. Man, when you start a business, I've told plenty of people this, man. I've been on a couple coaching calls, and I've told plenty of people this. You can make money, but if you're making money and you haven't and your why isn't strong enough, like, this is basically what I mean. You can make all the money in the world, you can save money, you can create a trust, but that business needs to have a lasting impact. When people think of your business name, which is what your brand, this is branding, we're going into a little bit of branding here. When people think of your business, what they think of is basically your brand, what they envision, your services, the quality of your services, the quality of your product. This is what they envision. This is what they want to that's going to have a lasting impact. What did you do? What makes you stand out? What makes you unique? That is what people want to know, and that is what people want to what you yourself will want to know what people think about you, your business or your company. But also, this is what people have in mind that shapes the trajectory of your business. Whether they will be a free marketing tool and vouch, that your business has good services or products, or they can be used for advertising purposes, or they will advertise your products for free because your services are just that good. So I'm going to give you 3 points. These are 3 main points. Once again, this is legacy over profit. Like I said, I've had plenty of coaching calls, and I'm letting people know it's not all about the money. First, you have to find something that you believe that your purpose to do, and that way it won't feel like a job. And we just had another podcast earlier that I was on. It's the Morning Roasted podcast that I had earlier. And one thing that we talked about was the 1% rule. And that 1% rule, it was a point that was on that particular podcast was discipline over motivation. And that is something that you need to understand when dealing with this as well. What do you want to leave behind? And also, what I meant was discipline over motivation. You can easily be motivated, but whatever you're doing, are you passionate about it? If you have passion and purpose behind what you believe that you're doing, that you monetize to go into as your product, services, maybe you feel like that you're led, or it's your purpose on this earth to be able to teach children. Not everyone has the patience or the compassion to teach a child, to sit there and teach, but some people are gifted and graced in that area. Maybe you feel like, God is calling you, or your purpose is just to be a caretaker. You've always had a connection with the elderly. Not a lot of people are patient enough to deal with elderly people. Not a lot of people are graced in that area to be able to have a conversation with an older person that just talks and it's really because they really don't have anyone to talk to, and a lot of their friends and family have, passed away. So, but some people are graced and they are gifted in those areas. So you really want to make sure that whatever you feel like your purpose or passionate about, you can monetize that. And it's not always about monetization, but you can monetize those things. And it would be like you don't have a job. You're doing something that you love to do. You do it effortlessly, and you do it with a smile on your face. And let's go back to what we meant, discipline over motivation. With being passionate and feeling like something is your purpose, it helps to cultivate discipline in you. So when you don't want to do something because you're passionate and it's your purpose, there's an unseen force that is driving you and that's keeping you discipline, which is your purpose. It's that purpose that's in you. That seed of purpose helps you to stay disciplined. Motivation, it has to deal with your emotions. That's basically like, if I feel good, I'm going to do it. If I don't feel motivated, I'm not going to do it. Discipline goes beyond that. And I really believe that purpose, a sense of purpose or a knowing of purpose, births that discipline in you. If I don't feel like doing it, I'm going to do it anyway. You know why? Because I feel like I'm purpose. There's something in me telling me that this is bigger than me. This is something that I have to accomplish. It's something that I have to move forward in doing, whether I feel like it or not, because not only my life and my family's life is attached to it, but other people's lives that I haven't even met yet will be blessed through what I'm doing here. So you have to have that sense of purpose when you go into business in some aspect. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you create an entire business and one department is basically focused on your set purpose of what you believe you should do. So number one, redefining success beyond money. And that's what we're going to do. You have to redefine success. You have to look beyond money or finances. Man, there's so many people in this world, that's all they care about is money. As soon as they get the money, they go and blow it. They blow it on their habits, they blow it on clothing. They look like money, but they look like they have a lot of finances, but they're not financially educated. You can have the best clothes there is out there, but you can still be broke. Or you can have let's say $10,000 in the bank, and you're just saving that money until you die and just let it build up. Or you can take $5,000 of that money and you can use the financial education that you have, or the knowledge you have about finances, and 10x that money. You know what I mean? So it's not always about the money. Some people look like money and they're completely illiterate. I'm completely dumbfounded when it comes to financial education when it comes to creating having a strategic wealth plan to pass down to the next generation. You look good all your life, you have money all of your life, and then when it comes time for you to die, you don't have a will, you don't have a trust, and you don't have anything to pass down to the next generation. So if you're not passing down a generational blessing, that means you're passing down a generational curse. And a lot of times the generational curses don't have to do with a person's bloodline as in the genetics, or you had sickle cell so your son has sickle cell. We're not talking about that. We're talking about passing down a generational curse of you making your child start from the same exact point that you had to start from. You started from poverty, and then now you didn't leave anything for your children, and now they have to start from poverty. That's because you didn't sacrifice your time, your attention, and your energy towards building something for the next generation. You were so distracted on probably someone else's lives, focused on celebrities, focused on the gossip in the neighborhood. You were so focused on what people thought about you, where you couldn't operate and be authentic in who you truly are to execute at a level that would bless the next generation. So we have to get beyond this point of thinking about life is about ourselves. Life is about our wants. Life is about me and what I want in this very moment. If you think like that, you will destroy yourself. You're going to live your whole life worrying about people who don't care about you, and you're going to live your whole life worrying about people that if they were to leave your presence or leave where you never saw them again, now you feel like you're purposeless. Your purpose in life is not to worry about other people. Don't let someone else's life become your purpose. I know some people, they feel like they don't have purpose unless their only purpose is to ruin someone else's life. God did not put you on this earth to strategically try to ruin someone else's life. God put you on this earth to strategically make sure that your life flourishes and that you have something to leave to the next generation. That is the purpose of a human being, to eat the fruit and the work of their own hands. So if you are using your time, energy, and attention towards doing the wrong thing, you're going to eat the fruit of that. But that is not why you was put here on this earth. No one was put on this earth to cause hurt, harm, and danger to the next person, especially for no reason, especially to the innocent. There's a lot of people, I don't know how I got on this, but there's a lot of people that's worried about politics. They're worried about the government. They're worried about why this politician, this president. They're worried about all these people with money doing people who don't have money bad. You know, I'm just going to put it in layman's terms here. They're worried about these people, the people with money mistreating people with money, when the people who don't have money, they use that same method to mistreat and bring hurt, harm, and danger on the innocent of people that's around them that need just as much help as they do. Why are you worried? You're worried about a politician with money mistreating the poor or the less fortunate, when you're less fortunate and you're mistreating the less fortunate. You don't have a right to talk about the rich treating the poor, keeping the poor when the poor won't even help the poor become rich. You're spending all your time and attention not towards coming together and see how you guys could get out of the poverty together, or coming together and see how you guys could put together a business or a business plan. Everyone's so insecure. If someone has a piece of knowledge and they say, man, well, let's put together this business plan. Everyone wants to act like they know more than the other person, when, you know, it's just a mess. You know what I mean? That's why, man, it's hard to help people that are in poverty and have a poverty mindset, because they're so hard-hearted and they're so prideful. You can never get rich being prideful. You know it all. You're such a know-it-all. You know what I mean? There's plenty of people I admire to be like, but you know what? I have to humble myself and I have to learn, what did these guys do to get this money? What kind of characteristics did these guys possess? What kind of heart did these guys have towards people? Because this is a major key in your success in your life or in business. Whatever you sow, you will reap. That is a major key. Do not think for 1 second, I don't care if you get over on 40 people just to become rich. Do you not know that along that journey, there's going to come a point in time that people may not steal money from you, but your health may be you may have to divvy up in your health. Yeah, you have the money, but you can't enjoy it because you can barely walk up a flight of stairs. Yeah, you have the money, but you can't enjoy it because, you know, now you're in a wheelchair. You know, sir, you can get over on people and obtain money, obtain finances, and then you can also, you're going to reap what you sow. So if I give someone $5, I give someone $5, or I go, let's say I go to a convenience store. I see something that I want to pay for it. Sowing is like paying for something that you want or something that you don't want, but you're going to pay for it. So if I want to buy Snickers, I give them the money, and then I don't get the same $5 back. What I get is the product of me sowing. So basically, if I sow a peach tree, I'm going to get the product. I'm not going to get that same exact seed back out of the ground. So that's what you have to, and it's going to be more, and it's going to be massive, and it's going to be more than I expected. So you also have to be careful while in business or in your everyday life to understand that true success isn't measured only by profit margins, but the positive impact a business leaves on a community. Your own life isn't measured by how much money you have. If someone can measure your life by how much money you have, they're looking surface level. People are so much in they have to be read in depth, because somebody can be good to you. Let's put it like this: in a relationship, I could have a girlfriend that's so good to me outwardly, but she's so good to me, that's the mask. But she's sneaky as well. That's just a cover up. Her heart and her intentions are evil, but her actions, that mask, is showing me that she's perfect, showing me that she's the one for me. If you don't have discernment of looking beyond the surface level things, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be used. You're going to be destroyed. So this I want to help you to give you a spiritual aspect of a physical endeavor, a physical business endeavor, a physical a relationship. You know what I mean? Relationship or business relationship. These same principles apply to both of these situations. But I want you to know it isn't the material things that really do matter and really do last. Yeah, leaving money to the next generation. Yeah, that will last. That will last if you teach your child the principles to keep that money flowing. But I'm going to tell you something that will last. You can teach your child certain principles, core morals that the foundation of your family is built upon, and that will last longer than money. It's a lot of times you can run out of money, but you can still have integrity because it was taught to you. You can run out of money, but you can still be compassionate to the poor and people that actually need your help. You can run out of money, but there are some things that money cannot buy that you can instill in your child that can be passed down and used spiritually as spiritual generational wealth. And those things will also help you to build natural generational wealth. There's a verse that's in the Bible that says a good name rather be chosen than great riches. There are doors and places that a good name can get you into that money can't get you into. There's some groups and some doors and some places that money you can't buy your way into certain places. You can't buy your way out of certain things, but a good name can give you access to certain places that money can't give you access to. You know what I mean? You could be poor but have a good name, and it can give you access to the president. You know, because of your good name, your good name went to places that money couldn't get you into. You know, your good name got you a deal that someone with money couldn't get. They said, man, you know what? No, it's plenty of people trying to get this contract, but for some reason, man, just because of who you are, man, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. I've had $50 million bids on this contract. I've had $30 million bids on this contract, but because of who you are, the way you carry yourself, your integrity, I know that you're not going to mistreat the profits, or you're not going to mistreat the company. I can deal with you more than having to see. A good name can get you into places that money can't get you into, cannot give you access to. But true success isn't measured only by profit margins, but by the positive impact a business leaves behind. So after you leave and you die and you pass the business on to your child, somebody that walks into, and then this is an analogy. There's a guy that owns a convenience store, right? This guy owned this convenience store, and he actually ended up passing away, and his son took over the store. So, you know, just imagine customers that come into the store and say, man, you know what? Hey, I don't know if you're like your father, but, you know, I usually don't come into this store. I just seen it, you know, he's not in it. But you hate for someone to come and say, man, your father left a crappy legacy. The only reason I'm coming into this store is because he's not even here anymore. The only reason I'm even buying products from you guys another chance is because the owner who was here that was a piece of crap, he's not operating the store anymore. So you would hate for you to run a business, pass it on to your child, and it leaves a bad taste, or just it's more of a burden than a blessing on you as a heir to the family legacy. Okay, another one is a business rooted in values, morals, especially integrity, and purpose. It naturally attracts loyalty. So if you're a good person, you naturally attract loyalty. You know what I mean? A business that is rooted on values and morals and purpose, having a purpose. I can create a food truck that sells chopped cheese and here in New York City, but it needs to have a purpose attached to it. Not our purpose isn't just to sell our little food cart that I own and someone else may be operating it. But it's not to just sell the best chopped cheese here in New York City. It is, we take a percentage of those profits and we donate them to our back to school drive. You know what I mean? I could have bought 500 backpacks, donated them to a charity in the community, and no one could ever know that they came from me. You know why? Or know that they came from my business. You know why? Because we purposely do this out of the kindness of our hearts. Now, the people who run the charity, they may know exactly where they come from, but those children that got those backpacks, that got that school supply, they don't know exactly where it came from. But there is that connection knows that we are a solid pillar in the community. Whenever something is done in the community and they need our help, or they need the help of our business, they will know exactly where to come, and they know that they would never hear anything about it. We're not going to say, well, those kids would have never got those backpacks. That school drive would have never been sponsored if I didn't give them the $7,000. You know what I mean? To sponsor the event, to get the bouncy toys or whatever it is. The people don't even know that event would have never been sponsored into this neighborhood if I didn't donate the money. No one knows that. But when your business has morals, values, and has a purpose behind it, it will naturally attract loyalty. It would naturally attract long-term growth. I'm gonna give you an example. Let me put it like this. A business that's community-based has a long-lasting effect than someone just selling products or just selling sandwiches or selling gourmet meals. You can sell gourmet meals, but you also need to be attached to some kind of community relief effort. And it's not just for brand awareness, which that is a benefit of working in a community, having a heighten your brand awareness where people know about your business, people know the character of your business, people know the morals and the values that your business contributes, you know what I mean, to the neighborhood, to the community, which is a good thing. You're going to automatically get that. But you need to have some core values that say, I want to help this community. I don't want to just be located in this community. I want to also help the community that I'm located in. I don't care if you give away 16 honey buns out of you just give them away for free. No one knows that you're doing it, but you need to establish some kind of rapport in the community that you're located in. I don't care what you do, what you sell, what kind of business that you run. I don't care if you sell mango on the side of the street. If you see a family walking by or a homeless person that don't have the money, give away one of those mango cups. Give away one of those, give away, or if you're coming to the end of your shift and you know that you can't use these products tomorrow, find someone to give them to so that they can eat for the night. God who sees you doing that good deed out of the kindness of your heart, even though it does have a benefit, the benefit is why throw it away? You can't use it tomorrow. But you can also find a way to give back even though you can't use those products tomorrow. So it's helping you, you're not being wasteful, and it's also helping the community. It's still benefiting both parties. And I'm not saying just give away the worst of what you have. Also find a way to give away good quality fruit, good quality products, good quality services for no price at all, to show the community that you are not only here to take their money, but you're also here to give back as a showing of gratitude for their support. You know what I mean? Okay, so number one, It's Redefining Success Beyond Money, which we just went over. Number 2 is building with a generational vision. Anytime that you build a vision, you need to build every business that you ever will create with a generational vision. You need to think, before you build a business, you need to think that what I'm building right now, how am I going to pass this along to my child, and how will they pass this same business along to their child? You know why it's a lot of Italian restaurants that's been around for 100 years? It's not just because of the good food or the customer loyalty or the foot traffic. They have a good area with high foot traffic. It's not because of those things. It is because they came up with a business structure that's rooted and grounded in family. It's family oriented. That I don't care if Johnny runs the business, he's going to pass it to Tony, and if Tony runs the business, he's going to pass it to his son Sal. They already know that this company is going to be, this business is going to be in the family for generations. It's already established. It's already established in the hearts and the mind of the child when they're growing up. When a child is growing up, they're letting them know this is going to be yours. I want you to take care of it. This is going to be your family's. They're already instilling in the child that this business is going to be theirs. That also reminds them that they have to keep a good rapport with the company, keep a good rapport with the community. They have to continue to keep those relationships with the community tightly knitted, to make sure that they're being the utmost respectful businessman and running a respectable business that benefits not only them but also benefits the community and each customer as well. They have to have a good name, but you have to build with a generational vision. You know, now it's some things that you can't have a generational vision for, but there's a lot of things that you can have a generational vision for. If I had a car right now, it's a 1962 Skylark. Now, I don't know if this is I'm really not a car enthusiast, you know, just for like Ferraris and Aston Martins. I really don't like Aston Martin, but like Ferrari, especially Lamborghini Storado, something of that sort. Now I can hit on that. You know what I mean? I can hit on the engine, the suspension type. I'm a car enthusiast when it comes to those brands and those caliber of cars. But as far as like the older models, the more vintage muscle cars and things. But if I had so don't quote me on this, but if I had a 1962 Skylark, there can be a generational vision for this. I'm going to keep this car. I'm going to make sure that it's in its utmost shape because I want to pass it down to my son. You know, I want to pass this vintage Ferrari down to my son through generation and generation. So once you establish that within your mind, you need to find a way to pass that along, keeping it in its best condition, making sure that the maintenance on that car the upkeep on that car is in such a pristine shape that once you pass it along, the child won't have to do anything else but to maintain it. That's what you need to do with the business. You don't want to pass. It's just like this. When a lot of people that die, they die and they leave a lot of debt. You don't want to do that with the business. You don't want to do that with your own personal life. When you pass something on to your child, try to clear up as much debt as you can. Try to clear up as much strife or burden that you have with any other business to business relationships, any other business partnerships. Try to clear all those things up before you pass away, so that when you pass on a business, when you pass on a vehicle, when you pass on a property, when you pass these things on to your children, that they won't be a burden, they will be a blessing. You hate to pass on a house or a property onto your child, but it has a $250,000 lien on it. You know what I mean? Because you took a loan and put it into the business. Now the business is failing. You didn't use the money for what it's supposed to be used and utilized for. You didn't, the money wasn't really allocated into the departments and areas that it was originally, primarily supposed to be used for. So now all of a sudden, you're passing on the burden. No one wants to be a part of something like that or to inherit a burden. So whenever you start a business, build your business with a generational vision. Legacy means creating something that can be handed down. So when you're talking about legacy, now we're talking about legacy over profit, over just money, leaving a legacy, building a business, or even building a life or a lifestyle that can be used as a blueprint for generations to come, that building a business that impacts community and outlasts you as the owner and outlasts you as the founder. But legacy, this word legacy means to create something that can be handed down, not just not just cashed or not just just not just money, man. You know what I mean? It has to be more than money. You can pass on money, but you also need to pass on a mindset that goes along with that money to make sure that it can stay inside of the family. Okay, and this is another thing you need to do when you're building with a generational vision. You need to make decisions that consider long-term growth. This is what will help your business to, these decisions will represent your business for the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years. So once you make decisions in your business, base it off of a generational model or strategy for that generational vision for that business that will last the next 10, 20 to even 50 years. So that's what you need to do. Make those type of decisions. And once you make those decisions, you have to consider long-term when you're making those decisions, 10, 20, 50 years from now. This is an example. A family-owned business that survives, generations, they do so because they prioritize culture and relationships and other areas of business, like the customer loyalty. So if you want a business that's going to last and survive for generations, you have to prioritize culture, maybe the culture of the location that you're surrounded by, maybe the neighborhood. You have to prioritize those things. Like I always say, based on the core values of the company culture that is cultivated from the core values of your business, or what the foundation of the business, or what the business was built onto. You do not have to accept every trend. There's always trends, and maybe there's a trend for, I see that these Jordans and Nike Dunks came out. They're very popular here in New York, but you don't have to adopt that trend. You can still keep the same originality and authenticity of your business and your business products, but maybe another trend comes out. Maybe there's Fashion Week in Paris, and there's a certain piece that you like, and you can incorporate that into your retail store. Or maybe you can incorporate something else, but do not lose the authenticity of your company just because you're trying to keep up with trends. Those trends are basically the same thing as someone just hopping on the bandwagon as soon as something new comes out. When AI came out, a lot of people hopped on the bandwagon and they wanted to start these AI schools. When becoming a life coach came out, that trend came out, there was a lot of people who went into being a life coach or being a business coach or things like that. They just jumped on it because it seemed trendy, but they didn't possess the character. They didn't possess the experience. They didn't possess the tenacity or the grit or the resilience. They didn't possess certain unseen qualities that would make them a candidate or make them who they needed to be able to run that particular, to be in that particular position for that business, or to be a life coach. Anyone can say they're a life coach, but if you don't have the character to be a life coach, you don't have resilience, you don't have integrity, you don't have certain level of caliber of morals, you don't need to be trying to coach someone else's life. You need to go back to the drawing board. You need to try to build yourself up. Do some shadow work, as they say. You have anger problems, start to work in that area. Like I said, we talk about the 1% rules, just the 1% rules, just getting better, 1% better in the area each day. You're not going to be perfect. It's never about perfection, but it's about progress. So you want to make sure that, you work on yourself, that you cultivate emotional intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence is basically not everything deserves your time, attention, or energy. You have to know how to disperse your time, and you have to make sure that the places you disperse your time, energy, and attention to, it benefits your life personally, or it benefits your business and benefits your family. Now, if you're taking all your time, energy, and attention, and you're putting it in a place that it doesn't benefit you, it's not going to be a benefit to your life in the short term or long term, then there needs to be some work that needs to be done. Maybe you need to work on your attention, where you place your attention. So that's something that you can work on as well. I've also had to work on that as well. Sometimes I have to catch myself. I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. Do you not know that you can gossip within your own mind? You know what I mean? Being judgmental is basically you gossiping with yourself. When you're saying this person this, I can't believe they did that, but you're talking to yourself, you're basically using yourself to gossip with yourself. So you need to be able to shut that voice off and say whatever they this person's doing is that person. I need to focus on what I need to do to make sure that I can accomplish the goals that I need to accomplish. Some people don't have people to gossip with, and so they're not putting their time and attention on gossiping with someone else. Sometimes you can gossip by being judgmental. You can gossip with yourself. Those petty conversations within yourself need to be cut out of your life. They don't benefit you. They don't benefit the next person. They don't benefit who you're becoming. You need to focus on the future you, the you that you envision yourself as being. You need to use all your time, energy, attention, every step, every action that you make, whether it's minor or whether it's major, and need to go towards unlocking that person that you envision yourself as, making progress towards that person. You want to be rich? Well, you need to make decisions. You need to have actions, minor or major actions towards becoming rich. You're just not going to become rich one day. There is a process that you have to go through that requires you to be disciplined on how you use your time, your energy, and attention. I can't wish I want to be rich every day, but I'm not coming up with no services, products, or business ideas to make sure that I'm becoming rich. I'm not learning no new skill on learning how to day trade so I can become rich, or so I can start to generate revenue or capital in some kind of way. I'm not coming up with ways to create multiple streams of income, but I want to be rich. It's not going to happen. It's not just one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be a millionaire. You have to become rich on purpose. You're not going to accidentally become rich. I heard somebody say this: if you keep hustling on purpose, you're going to accidentally become rich. So that's a different form of it. If you keep hustling on purpose, you will accidentally become rich but you are still hustling, going towards the trajectory of what you want to build. Nobody gets rich on accident. And I'm gonna tell you what, but you could be broke on purpose, and you could be rich on purpose. You know what I mean? You could be broke on accident. You know what I mean? Just not having the right knowledge, the right tools. You can get into a bad deal. But I'm gonna tell you something. You're not going to get rich on accident. No, it's either two things are going to happen that you can get rich without putting any work in. Whether it was passed down to you, that somebody in your family made all the sacrifices to be able to pass this generational wealth down to you, or it's just by a destiny moves. Time and chance comes to everyone, but you can miss those moments. Maybe it's just written within your destiny or within your life that you are going to have a time and a chance, and there's going to be a window that's open. There's plenty of people that come across great relationships, whether it's a husband, a wife, a great job, or comes across a great business deal, and some of these things are once in a lifetime deals that we can blow and they don't come back, and now we're stuck living the way that we can live. So every opportunity that you come, exploit that opportunity to the fullest of your potential and learn how to grow into the opportunity. A lot of us get tricked out of great opportunities because we haven't dealt with a lot of emotional baggage, or we haven't really dealt with a lot of things within ourselves. So that's why I talk about doing the shadow work. The shadow work is basically anything that's in you that's weighing you down, any emotion, any energy that's in you that's weighing you down, that's stopping you from getting to the next level. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's bitterness, maybe it's unforgiveness. These darker energies weigh you down, and they keep you from becoming successful. And then people say, well, I know a guy that's very angry, but he's rich. He's rich, but he's not successful. Success has to do with you spiritually, and success and peace. True success and peace come hand in hand. True success isn't money. It doesn't have anything to do with money. True success and comes with peace. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have those days that you're not going to have to step up to the plate, that you're not going to be frustrated and irritated. But true success comes with an inner peace that once you are successful, once you are wealthy, and once you are rich, you can still lay down and go to sleep and sleep like a child, knowing that what you're going to pass down to your family, it came without stepping on people. It came without getting over on the poor. It came without having to sacrifice your best friend or just things of that nature. And people may wonder, why are you talking about these things? Because let's just keep it real. We live in a world that's extremely spiritual. There's a lot of people, they want to front. They acting like just because you work at a food shelter doesn't mean that you don't operate in spiritual things. Just because you help the poor on one hand doesn't mean that's really truly who you are. We live in a world where people wear a lot of masks in the world. There's a lot of people in positions where they should have compassion for people. They're really taking advantage of people. I've been in plenty of situations, plenty of homeless situations that, people, they help you because that's their job, but they're also cursing the food that they're giving to you. So while they're helping you on one hand by feeding you, the food that they're giving you, it's cursed. They've cursed it. They've created some type of demonic exchange where you're exchanging the food for your money. You don't even know that you're spiritually making an exchange for your money or for your finances or for your wealth, and by eating this food. But you know what I mean? So you don't. Yeah, so let's just keep it real here. But what I want to say is this: you want to make sure that once you hit a place of success, when you hit destination success, then you want to make sure that it comes with a peace that surpasses all understanding, that you can still go to sleep at night. Okay, impact that outlives the entrepreneur. So this is our third point here. Once again, if you're just now tuning in, this is the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is the place where we give you the knowledge and tools to execute your dreams and visions. We got 3 points. Our episode title is called Legacy Over Profit, building businesses that impact communities and outlast you as the founder, as the CEO, and as the owner and entrepreneur. Our first point was redefining success beyond money. Number 2 is building with a generational vision. And then now number 3 is impact that outlives the entrepreneur. Business can become platforms for social change, education, and opportunity. You want to make sure when you create a business with this generational vision that it not only is for your family, but it can create social change in the neighborhood that it's at. Okay, yeah, we're making money. My family is straight, but you have to make sure that whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling, whatever business that you have, that it's doing something for the community. It is administering or being used as a platform for social change in the community. It's also being used as a way to educate others. Yeah, if I'm running this is one thing that I'm always going to do. If anyone works for me, I'm not going to allow them just to work for me. I'm going to also help them to understand the blueprint on how this business was built. You know what I mean? So if they ever decided to build their own business, then they won't have to work for me the rest of their life. Anybody that ever works for me, they won't have to work for me the rest of their life. You know why? Because I'm going to take time for team development, personal development of each employee that works for me. I'm going to make sure that they have a way out. If you don't want to work this 9 to 5, we're going to treat you good here. We have a good company culture here. We have great benefits here. But if you ever decided to work on your own, if you ever felt like that, I think it's time for me. I think I've gained enough knowledge, enough skill on how to create my own business by working for you guys. And I want to try to create some generational wealth. I want to start my own business. I'm going to be 100% behind you. I'm going to be behind you as being your former boss or being your former leader to make sure that I can do whatever that's in my power to help you to create generational wealth for your children. Or if you still wanted to work with me, we can also come up with a plan that can strategically open up another stream of income where you can work for me full time, but you can still have a vending machine business on the side where you can still love your job, still love working with us, but you have an extra stream of income that's coming in while you're working. Someone's buying the can, and once you get off work, you can go and buy the vending, go and fill the vending machines up. But each employee that's ever going to work with me, they are going to have multiple streams of income. We are going to find a way, whether you're working with me or not, where it would change the bloodline financially. It would change the bloodline of your family for the rest of your life. If you ever come in contact, if you ever work for TSG Global Resource Management Group, if you ever work for any of our companies, we are going to make sure not only you as an employee, but the ones who come after you will have something to inherit. So that's something that I have strategically built a blueprint to make sure that we not only have team development, personal development for the mindset or the person that worked with us, but we're also going to develop a strategy to make sure that you have an extra stream of income outside of us, so you won't have to depend on us as a job. If there's any time where you can't be to work and you can't be to work on time, you may have problems with your kids, and maybe you're on the point of being fired. Maybe we've had a discussion with you, but at least you will have something to fall back on, whether you work for us or not. Well, I still have the vending machine business going on. Well, I still have a retail store that, you know what I mean? So you can still work with us, but maybe your time is a little bit stretched. Maybe your family is getting in the way of you being on time working for us as a company. Well, while you was were with us, at least we strategically created a way that you can have multiple streams of income where you don't have to work for us. We felt like we've done our job. We're going to continue to make money. We're going to continue to build the lives of people who work for us. We're going to continue to create a fantastic company culture for all who works for us. But we're also going to be glad that you're not just dependent on us as a job. We don't want you to have to come to work just because you have to come to work. We want you to come to work because you love what you do, you love who you work with, and you love what we offer you outside of you working for us. We're not here to oppress you. We're here to help you reach your fullest potential. Now, there are some people that we do understand just want to come to work and get a paycheck and go home. Okay, we're not gonna. That's how you will be treated. But anyone else that wants to understand if there's another way that they can make money where they don't need us as a company, we want to make sure that we give you that knowledge and those tools to make sure that you can leave a legacy for your family. Business can become platforms for social change, education, and opportunity, which we just talked about. Leaving a legacy means designing a model, which we just discussed. Leaving a legacy means designing a model that continues to serve others even when you're no longer at the helm of the business, when you're no longer at the forefront of the business, when you're no longer alive, when you're no longer, your name is when you're no longer showing up to the company as the CEO, when you're no longer showing up to the company as the founder, when you're no longer have any responsibility within the business, whether you pass the business along to your son or maybe someone else is running the business until your son or your daughter can come of age to take over the business. Maybe you have someone else running the company. But when you are no longer tied into the affairs of that company, you need to make sure that you have designed that business, which is part of your legacy. You need to design a model for that business that serves others even long after you're gone. Long after you're gone, you need to have a model or a structure set in place that even though I'm not here, even though I've been dead for 20 years, this business still serves the community. We've been doing this for 20 years. We've been doing this for 30 years. And the only thing we're doing is strategically finding more ways to serve the community better. We're not trying to stay stuck. We're not trying to stay stagnant. We're amplifying the model. We're amplifying. We should never digress, but progress in what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. So you need to design a model that will, long after you're gone, 20 years after you're gone, people are going to say, you know what, this company and what we're doing here, there was a guy by the name of so-and-so, by the name of Caleb, by the name of John, by the name of Darius, by the name of Isaiah, by the name of Antonio or whoever, Pedro. There was a guy who started this company 20 years ago. He's not here. And they can tell the history of how that company came to be created and how it came into fruition and how it was manifested from the vision of someone who had a generational vision, not only for their family, but for that community. And people 20 years, 30 years down the line, as that story is told throughout generations, you will build a long-lasting business that your name is attached to, that serves the community, and your name and your legacy will live on, and that will also be a blessing to your family, even after you live. So you need to create a model that does that. Do not go into business just to have money. Like I said, this episode is called Legacy Over Profit. You need to start thinking long term. You need to start thinking about the legacy of your last name, the legacy of your bloodline. Build business that impact communities and outlast you as the founder, the CEO, and as the entrepreneur that started it. This is the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. This is the place where we give the knowledge and tools to execute your dreams and visions. We'll see you back here next Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Where love used to shine. Now I'm haunted by the ghost of your heart.